want to take a moment to welcome everybody to the Watch This Shit podcast. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. My name is Seneca, the movie professor, and I have my collaborator and cooperator here, Young Sam. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yo, it's Young Sam, aka the movie professor in training.
All right. With this podcast, we're going to give you the definitive decision on whether you should go view a new movie release or not. It's real easy. If we say watch this shit, stop what you're doing and enjoy some good cinema. If we say don't watch this shit, avoid it as you would eating an unidentified devil fruit. Or don't. Do what you want. It may be fun, or it may take away your ability to swim with giving you powers that are useless. You don't want to listen to us? You put your life in your own hands. All right, today we're going on a cruise. Netflix was somehow able to butter up Oda Sensei by putting several seasons of his anime and the theatrical movies on their platform. Then they backed up a truck of money to his driveway and prayed to the adaptation gods they could do a version of this iconic series that people don't try to crucify them for. We are talking about One Piece, the song of the tale that never ends. The manga first published in 1997. The anime first aired in 1999. Both of them are still ongoing. At this point, they're probably only still creating new material to prove that they can perform at this level longer than anyone else ever has. And now they are a live action Netflix show. The conversion from page and animation to live actually action typically doesn't end in success when dealing with anime. Let's see how it went here. Young Sam, are you an anime fan, and how heavy do you rock with One Piece?
Never watched One Piece.
Ooh.
This is my first dip into the One Piece pool. So my opinion is coming from somebody who's never watched anime.
That's amazing. Now I'm even more interested to see, because I have a couple points that I want to talk about. Uh, how people who haven't seen the anime, this may be actually, honestly, it may be a good first step into enjoying it, but we'll get into that later. All right.
Okay.
The cool thing about this show is that it takes the spirit of the original Japanese material and uses knowledge of future events in that story for this story. One Piece is the story of a group of pirates that are overachievers. They each have a lofty dream that are each more impossible than the next. Their world is one of mostly water, making the job of a pirate to be one of the most realistic career paths available to its citizens. At the heart of the story is the relationship between the crew. How they believe in and support each other to accomplish their dreams drives the plot. My favorite arc of the series is one that's much later in the show, or much later in the book, and it deals with them fighting against insurmountable odds to keep their team together. I had a question here for you, Sam, about your favorite arc, but you haven't even seen it. You haven't seen the anime, you haven't read it, so we're gonna move on. While discussing this content, I will do my best not to bring up too many of the differences and changes that they made for this adaptation. Some of it was done to highlight certain characters, other changes were made in order to truncate the arcs. The manga takes its time with most of its material. During chapters, it is commonplace for the narrative to veer off into a backstory of important characters for many different chapters. This usually happens right as the action is ramping up. Then, when they cut back to the story, it gets even more crazy. Here, the same or similar pattern is used. I'm glad they apply the formula as it works excellent for the type of tale being wove, weave, weaving. You get what I mean. Sam, did the flashbacks and the little turns that they did those work for you?
uh, for some characters it did. Others it was a snooze fest.
Yeah, I can see that. The more exciting backstories, yeah, for sure. But when the action just halts to tell a long drawn out tale, I can see how some people could get uninterested. All right. My favorite aspect of the show is the fact, and you won't care about this, but this was the most important thing to me, is that the original cast from the anime lends their voices to the Japanese language track for the dub. In my opinion, you are not a true anime fan if you willingly watch the English dub version of any anime. There is something about watching something in its original form that feels right. Part of it is because I'm from the age when companies would purchase the rights and release these anime in the States, but make any changes that they saw fit to force it to be in line with our culture sensibilities. The original One Piece anime was one of the worst offenders. Sanji's cigarettes became lollipops, guns became pop guns, and the dialogue was altered so greatly it would make one think, why even produce the show if you're not going to do it right? I had the manga before the show was released here, so I knew it was meant to be. And the show that they put out for 4 Kids Entertainment wasn't it. All that being said, One Piece is a Japanese property. It should be viewed as close to pure as possible. The cadence of the voice actors, I mean, they've been playing these characters for damn near 30 years. They should have a firm grasp on how they sound. Sam, were you able or did you even care to unlock the secret code on Netflix to get the Japanese version? Or
The
did you
secret
just listen to them speaking American?
the secret code. Oh, yeah. See, I didn't get that secret code because I don't own my Netflix. So I was like, I'll go ahead and watch these old Americans butcher this.
Oh no. Oh no. Yeah, that's not good.
But I do watch my anime with subtitles. So
Good job. That is the only way. Just something about the voice. It's like it's musical. It's musical the way that the characters sound in their original language versus what we do. And it's just better. It's just better in Japanese. Um, but on Netflix, what you have to do, or at least I did. I know some of my friends didn't have to do this. They could just go through the menu normally, where you go to the episode, click the button, and select your language for Japanese. Right. I had to set my default language in my account profile as Japanese in order to get the option to switch it to Japanese. It was a lot, but it was worth it. And the main reason I worked so hard to find the Japanese language version is the captain of the Straw Hat Pirates and the main protagonist, Monkey D. Luffy. He is an amazing character full of optimism and determination. His dream is to find the One Piece and become the king of the pirates. He ate one of the legendary devil fruits that I alluded to earlier, which imbues the devourer with special abilities at the cost of never being able to swim again. And Yaka Godoy plays the character here, and honestly, he has the look now. Of course, he isn't Japanese, he's Mexican, but the wardrobe and even his expressions were very Luffy esque. The part he doesn't have down is the voice acting. Luffy does these yahoos and woohoos all the time because he's generally a cheerful individual. And Yaki does not have the ability to pull it off. So it was great that I'm able to switch to a better version of the dialogue. Mayumi Tanaka, who has voiced Luffy since 1999, gives a much better portrayal on the audio side. Most of Godoy's filmography is Spanish language films. So it's quite possible he has a better timing when speaking Espanol, but here his timing was always off. Take it, I only watched part of the first episode in English before figuring out the code to put it in Japanese and starting the whole thing over again. So maybe he improved, but I can assure you he didn't.
Yeah, spoiler alert, he didn't.
Okay, I figured. Sam, did little homie make a good Luffy in your opinion?
I mean, from what I know about the show, I would say yeah, because he looks like the character. But as far as like sounding, I don't know how he sound. Those yahoos were kind of annoying.
Hmm.
It was just it just something just didn't gel right with
It seemed out of place, right?
yeah.
Hmm.
So and
But
he was all right.
the female actor, the Japanese, she nails it.
Oh, it's a
That
female that
oh yeah,
voices? Oh,
yeah, a lot of a lot of Japanese protagonists, especially if they're supposed to be young sounding or youthful, they use females to do their voice.
hmm, I didn't know that.
Uh-huh. A lot of them. Some of them don't, of course, but a lot of them do.
Hmm.
One Piece and the Straw Hat specifically would be nothing without the powerhouse Roronoa Zoro. He's the strong, sword wielding, all the alcohol drinking, when not working out, he's napping, first mate to Luffy. Played here by the one named as like he was Madonna, Macanuyu, who has been in multiple live action adaptations of anime. He's been in Full Metal Alchemist, Rurouni Kenshin, Kaji, and so many others. I never got to the point where I heard his voice, his speaking voice, because I'd already switched to the Japanese version. So I can't speak on his acting ability by voice, but his presence was surely in line with how I imagined Goro to be. He is almost as cool and powerful as his manga counterpart. His dream is to become the most powerful swordsman on the planet. In the world of One Piece, that's damn near impossible, and he has quickly shown that there are some true monsters to combat when he runs up on Mihawk, the reigning sword fighting badass.
Hmm.
He fucks around and finds out just how far out of reach his goals are. That gives him even more motivation to level up and shows the audience the bar. Sam, did you get a sense of what the goals of each of the crew were?
Um, I got a sense of 2 out of not 3. I had a
Mhm.
sense of 3 of them.
Okay.
The others, I was just like, I don't really care about your character. So it's like, I don't care what you want to do. You can't make me interested in you.
Let me guess the people that you're not interested in. Usopp and Nami?
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. I just felt like they were just I didn't like Nami's actress
Mhm.
and her delivery was poor. And Usopp, after they introduced him, he could have been left at the shipyard.
He should have been left at the shipyard. In this story, anyway. In this
Yeah.
story, he probably should have been left at the shipyard. Yeah. So let's jump on Nami. Nami is the cruise navigator. Without her, the rest of the characters will probably sail in circles and become perpetually lost. She is played by Emily Rudd. The reason that you felt the way you felt about her is because what Netflix did, which is a decently smart tactic, was take up and coming actors to play the main leads in the show. I'm certain they did this to help keep the cost down. A lot of manga purists will also be sad to know that Nami's drawn anatomy is probably one of the most unrealistic things in the show where special fruits give people godlike powers. The actor looks close enough to pass as Nami, but the body will never be what it is in the book. It can't. It's no human is made that way. And that wig they put on her is quite scruffy. Yeah, her dream. She looks better with her regular hair. I know. I know she didn't want to color it on. I get that. They possibly should have found a happy medium. Anyway, her dream is to draw a map of the world. Because the waters get increasingly more dangerous, she has to align herself with powerful allies, as she is not one of those strong fighters. This leads to what becomes the finale of the season, when the captain of the Fishman pirate crew attempts to enforce their initial claim on her skills. The team has to battle a strong enemy crew to free her. This becomes a recurring thing as the Straw Hats often have to face off, uh, like a few times they do this in the manga to reclaim one of their homies. Sam, we texted about the show briefly, and you said you were slogging through the show. Did things improve once more of the story elements were introduced, like the Nami Arlong relationship?
Actually, I didn't really care about the relationship. I cared um because as I think it was episode 6, and it was just like, nah, this is horrible. So I liked it up until the chef.
Hmm.
So I liked his backstory. I liked Zoro's, and I liked Luffy's,
Right.
and I liked you know their their cohesion. But after episode 6, it was just like, mm, I don't really care about this chick. She could die. All I care.
Wow.
I just didn't like her. I did not like her.
Yeah, it's good to hear this. It's good to hear your perspective on this because a
And
lot.
the fish guy, I was just like, oh, who the fuck are you? Like,
Yeah.
like what are you doing? Like, you just jump up, and his crew just seemed like what? This is this isn't.
Hmm.
I was just like, this isn't the best. Like, it could have been a little bit better, in my opinion.
Yeah, because they didn't give time for these arcs to breathe. They put 5 or 6 arcs in 9 episodes. This is supposed to span this season probably spans 70 episodes of the anime. Maybe more. Maybe more. I had to look it up and see when each one starts, but they really put a lot of material into a short amount of time, so you don't get a chance to really fill out those characters. And one of the things that I noticed, most prominently, starting with Nami's story arc, is the selective placement of the black people. I'm gonna call it exactly what it is. If there's a side character that isn't important, or if it's not one of the cool characters from the story, it's okay for Netflix to cast a black person. What the fuck? Nami's sister is cast as a black actor. Shanks, who is Luffy's mentor, his fat crew member, they
Mm.
made him black. And even though he is a main crew member, Usopp, the worst straw hat, is black. He is a coward and a liar. Honestly, he is the one crew member that just makes up a drink. When the others are proclaiming their goals, he makes up on the spot in the manga as well. He makes up on the spot
Mm.
that he wants to be a great warrior of the sea.
Okay, that makes sense now.
Uh-huh. A lot of people don't understand because manga is traditionally printed in black and white. That even though the manga scene is heavily influenced by the original Disney films and characters, their stories, they usually put Japanese people in the stories. These are Japanese people writing stories about people that look like them. Making the weakest one black is damn near disrespectful. No, it is fucking disrespectful. Did you like the assertion of black people in menial roles, or am I tripping?
No, no, like, when he was introduced as the liar and the coward, I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And then I didn't really notice um, the black guy, the Shanks crew member, the
His
fat
homie.
black one.
Uh-huh.
I
Mhm.
didn't notice that till you said that. I was like, "Oh, yeah, he was black." And
Mhm.
I didn't like the fact that, okay, the fat black guy in Shanks' crew is the deadbeat dad. Like, come
No,
on now.
he's not. No, it's another one. It's another one.
Oh, it's a
So yeah,
okay.
Yasop is Usopp's dad, and he's in Shank's crew as well.
Mhm.
And he's black, and
He's still a deadbeat. Either way.
he's still a
It's
deadbeat.
it's like, okay, I
Convenient.
mean, all the black people got the negatives. It's like, okay,
Right.
whatever.
That's frustrating. That is fucking frustrating. I know people like to see themselves represented on the screen, but if you're going to do it disrespectfully, it's better to not do it at all.
Yeah, because I mean, if you have kids watching this and they see a black person and they're like, okay, this person looks like me, and you're portraying them in a negative way, and it makes
Mhm.
people look at black people in a negative way. It makes a black person feel bad about themselves, or black kids like, oh, like I'm in that same situation, or why are you portraying it like that? My mom and dad are here, like why? So it's
Mhm.
like,
Look at them in the face. You're perpetuating a stereotype that is untrue. It's something that you have created, and you're trying to continue to drive that narrative, and it's wrong.
yep.
Yeah, I hated every moment of it. The one thing that I did like is that Usopp kissed that white bitch in the mouth. You rarely get to see that, but I'll talk about that on another day. This ain't the day to talk about it. The Going Merry is the cruise ship, and technically, the ship is the fifth member of the crew. The
Yeah.
design and weight of the vessel feels solid. Seeing it on a two-dimensional medium after all these years, having real people walk through it makes it feel like a real place. Before the show came out, I saw one of those Netflix making of videos where they explained the need to get the look of the locations as close to how they would be in real life. They built the sets to scale. I mean, these niggas really built a boat set.
Hmm.
That's dedication. And part of why I feel like the spirit of Oda's vision is in the scenes on the ships. Not everything translates well. Some of the CGI with Luffy's rubber powers is bad, bad, bad. But the attempt is there. And this was the best use of rubber powers that I've seen in live action. That Mr. Fantastic shit Fox was putting out is trash compared to what's on the screen here. What did you think of the special effects and the set, Sam?
I liked them both. Especially like you said, some of the rubber, it was good. The clown, is it Buggy or what do you
Like you,
call it?
yeah,
I liked his special effects, how he just separated. That
he
looked
chop
very
chop. He's a
clean.
chop chop man.
That looked very clean to me. But like I said, some of the rubber stuff was like, yeah. Um, I would give the special effects and the sets. Sets were good. I was really drawn into the world
Mhm.
based on the like kind of what they built. Um, I would give it like a A minus.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, they put some work in it for real.
Yeah, yeah.
When I saw they did the time lapse on the because they put it on YouTube, they did the time lapse showing how they were building the ship, and it reminded me of a later arc in the series when they were actually building the ship.
Oh, oh, and one part I did really like about the CGI was when they put up their wanted poster and each character kind of
Mhm.
took a
Kept that.
slash at it, or
Mhm.
it was
Yeah,
like, huh, like they pulled it out of it, even though it was on the screen. Like they pulled it off the screen and did something with it. It was really cool. I like that part.
that was invented. That was good use of it. One of posters are a big part of the manga, is every time you do something, they put money on your head, right?
Hmm.
Uh, so incorporating that was pretty cool. The final crew member to be introduced for this season is Sanji. He is the cigarette smoking, hard kicking, womanizing chef of the Straw Hats. His dream is to use spices and cook seafood that only appear in the All Blue, the place where all the waters of the world meet. Played by Taz Skyler. He has a fairly ambiguous look to him. While researching, I learned it's because one of his parents is British and the other one is Arab. Sanji, as a character, always had the best style of the main group. He refuses to use his hands in fights, as they are only used for preparing meals. He will never hit a female. Part of that is because he is instantly, madly in love with any beautiful woman he sees. That has been toned down for the show. Also, he will feed anyone that is in need. Having the tragic backstory of almost starving to death left an impression on him as a child that never went away. He doesn't want anyone, not even an enemy, to feel the pain of living hell that he went through. Him and his father's figure, Red Shoe Zeph, experienced that together. This part of the story, I know I said I wouldn't bring it up much, but this is the arc that suffers the most from the cuts made to tell the story faster. A lot of character development, whole ass characters, and action scenes are missing from the Barati arc. I understand why the anime. I understand because this arc here, the one with the chefs with the cooks, that was a 12 episode, 30-minute piece.
Damn.
That could have been an entire season by itself. And there it is. That's the shortcoming of translating to live action. People want things done quick, fast, and in a hurry. The reason this particular manga and anime has gone so long is because time and care has been taken to fully develop these characters as damn near friends to the audience. there have been times when I've read the manga and my heart was in my stomach because I wanted to make sure that my nakama made it out safely. I care for these characters and have spent a lot of time with them. Sam, do you feel the show? Did you feel it? Did you feel that the show was rushed through through some of the great material to get where they believe people wanted them to be?
There were some parts that I felt that was probably kind of rushed. I kind of felt like when I was watching, I was like, something feels left out. Like it,
Hmm.
like we're skipping parts here. So yeah, I definitely felt like some stuff was just like, let's throw this together because we're running out of time. We're not a budget,
Exactly. Exactly.
So.
The guy that came on the boat during that arc, his
Mhm,
name is Jin. Of course they made him black, which is
mm,
another thing that pissed me off. But he fed the guy, and then that was it. But in the story, that guy was the vanguard of Don Craig, which was the guy that got beat up by Mihawk in this show. But he was the
mhm,
main villain of that arc. So Jin came on the boat, got fed by Sanji, and then he led his crew to the boat, and they took it over. They had a big knockout, drag down
mm,
fight, and then Sanji joined the crew. Arlong wasn't there.
mm. I mean,
They
that
yeah,
makes
they
sounds
piecemealed this
interesting.
show, dude.
That actually sounds interesting.
It's amazing. It's amazing because you see Sanji's pain and you see two sides of him. You see him having guilt over feeding this man who is now destroying the thing that he loves, but you also see that he never can go back on that moral goal or like detour from his moral compass because he doesn't want anybody to starve the way that he almost did.
Mhm.
It's amazing. And Sanji and Jin at the end of the story, they're both crying, like bawling in tears because they don't want to hurt each other because they built that connection.
Okay.
But you don't get it here. You get one scene with him feeding the dude, and the dude is gone. So okay, final thoughts. I'm moving on. Overall, I like the show. It will never be able to replace the manga, not even the anime. But as an adaptation, it wasn't bad. Think about what they did with Death Note, and or even Cowboy Bebop, which Cowboy Bebop was okay, which is not popular. Um, but I say watch this shit. I feel like it's a good entry into the series. I've heard so many people say that there are too many volumes. The anime is over 1,000 episodes right now. But of course, it's just like anything. You have to start the journey in order to get to your destination. I'm on my philosopher shit today. Sam, go ahead. Let us know how you feel about it.
Um, I would say if you're interested, watch it. Um, if you're a fan of anime, watch it. Cause I feel like if you're not a fan of anime, this isn't your type of show. So I'm thinking of some people. I was like, I don't think they're gonna like this, and it's just because of, I guess, the different aspects of the show and how things are portrayed or how the acting's done. I maybe would have had a better experience with it if I would have watched the Japanese
Chinese
voiceovers.
version. Mhm.
I should have done that. But I would say I would give it a watch this. And hope that they improve on some things in season two.
Hopefully so, because they have been renewed.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully they take some of that feedback. I'm sure people are giving them. Matter of fact, they can listen to this podcast. They'll tell them exactly what they need to do, or they can
Yeah.
they can send me an email.
Uh, remove some characters. Nah, no remove
Mhm,
'em. Just try to keep it as close to the manga as possible.
mhm. There you go. All right, awesome. Everybody, thank you for listening to another episode of Watch This Shit. You come here for the realest take on new movies. So make sure you follow us so you're not left in the dark on whether you should check out a new movie release or not. We told you what to do. Go ahead and watch it if you are curious about anime or getting into One Piece. This is a great place to start. Check us out next time when we review The Outlaw Johnny Black. And good day to you.